Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture. Right now, we have celebrity legal news. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Give me 1 second. Let me turn down that television in there. One moment. All right, people. Had to turn that television down. Had my white noise on, so you know how that goes. All right, people. Let's go over this Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively news. If you hadn't already, please hit that like button and consider, and I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. So let's get into it. I've been gone for a minute. Now I'm back with the jump off because there's so much news that have come out. So at the last time that I spoke to you all, and you all probably already know this, but let's recap. You had Ryan Reynolds. Well, excuse me. You had the publicist, Leslie Sloan, then Ryan Reynolds, then Blake Lively file motions to dismiss, stating that Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively's suit said she said that because of the SH complaint that Justin Baldoni doesn't have a right to file a claim against her. That is considered to be harassment. So she's filed her case. Ryan Reynolds filed his case. Stating that he shouldn't be part of the lawsuit because he had nothing to do with it. And Leslie Sloan also put in a motion to be released from this lawsuit. So they all did that to me, coordinating. So one lawyer, Leslie Sloan went first, then Ryan Reynolds filed, and then Blake Lively filed. So we have those subpoenas out. I mean, not subpoenas, but we have those motions out. And then there's just been some little other stuff with the legal information. And I will do another live in regards to that. But this is just overview stuff that has happened this weekend that I do want to try to go over. So apparently, there was a 60 Minutes in Australia, and they had talked to some people from the crew. And we've got some crew members speaking about this case. So let me share my screen with y'all. We'll go over this particular article. Yada, yada, yada. So we say here that it says that Blake Lively tried to take advantage of Justin Baldoni, and it ends with us battle, a crew member claim. So now we're getting a crew member, and I will say a crew member that says that she tried to take over. Let's read the article written by Eileen Reslin. Says a former End With Us crew member has broken her silence on what she experienced on the embattled movie set and is siding with the film's lead actor and director, Justin Baldoni. Quote, it says, I feel like maybe Blake Lively smelled his kindness, mistook it for weakness, and tried to take advantage and take power. Talia Spencer, who worked as a storyboard artist on It Ends With Us, per IMBD. So that was her role. And this is the young lady right here. The former staffer agreed with the claim that Lively 37 tried to gain control of the film, stating, I think that there were massive compromise in terms of Justin's original vision for the film. To see it being overtaken by this way was definitely a little bit sad, Spencer said. During the sit down, the artist did not provide a specific example, though, of how the Gossip Girl allegedly asserted her control. Now, as we remember in reading Justin's claim, he claimed that she fired anybody that was opposing her. She fired. Remember, she fired the first AD, and then she fired the second AD. So I don't know. Again, I don't know who this person is. I don't know, because I know when you do the storyboards, I don't know how long you stay on the set with the storyboards, or do you have to redo the storyboards? I'm really not sure. I know of her position, but I'm not sure how long she stayed on set with that position. So, but we have her story, and she came out on 60 Minutes Australia, claiming what her situation was. And here you have pictures. It looks like from the set with the Blake. Looks like she's taking, and I don't know who this woman right here is. It would be nice to know who this person is over here. Um, let's see. It's got a little slideshow. Let's see if they'll show us some stuff. So this is a picture. This is when they're on set. Another picture when they're on set. Again, another picture on set. Both of those outfits are horrendous, hers and his. I don't like the boots, but okay. Yeah. Oh, that wardrobe is awful. So this is her doing the storyboards. All right. Eh, doesn't seem like much, but we'll go with that. Not the thing. Let's see. We have here Blake Lively was named a Titan of Time on magazine's 100th most influential people. Let's see what we got going on here. So this is a TMZ article. It says Blake Lively has raced past influential person and taken on immortal status because Time just named her a Titan on its annual 100 most influential people list of 2025. The actress was included on the list in the Titans category alongside recognizable names like Serena Williams, Lorne Michaels, Simone Biles, and Mark Zuckerman, along with a coterie of other famous faces. The Titans category is for people who are leaders in their field and those who have made a transformative impact on the world. In the past years, the honor has been given to big names like Bill Gates, Michelle Obama, and George W. Bush. Sherilyn Ifill, a notable civil rights attorney. I wonder is she Gwen Ifill's sister? Wrote the blurb about Blake for the publication, saying she's never seen Girl or paid much attention to Blake Lively on the red carpet, but knows her instead as a philanthropist and a student of our country's most intractable problems. So this is what she wrote. This is the blurb that Sherilyn Ifill wrote. And I'm wondering, is she Gwen Ifill's sister or related to her? Because Gwen Ifill used to be on PBS for a very long time. She did a news broadcast, and she was also, you probably remember her from years back. She would always moderate presidential debates. She says, I don't know the Blake Lively of the red carpet or the Met Gala. I never watched Gossip Girl. The Blake Lively I know is a philanthropist and a student of our country's most intractable problems. And she and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, reached out in 2019 to make a contribution to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. I had been getting a few of these calls as our work fighting against voter suppression and police brutality was receiving national attention. I'm always curious about the kind of research famous people do before they make that cold call to offer their support. The ones I the ones I have remained in relationship with are those who, like Blake, really did their homework. I admired immediately her curiosity and her sincere work to understand the conditions that shaped this country. I remember an early conversation in which she expressed frustration that so much of our nation's history was not part of the instruction she had received as a student. Her commitment to filling those gaps and becoming the most fully informed, prepared citizen is what I appreciate most about her. Blake is a serious person. She is a risk taker, and she's committed to moving this country forward for her children and for mine. Cha. Not Blake trying to get in the good graces of the 92%, honey. And the 78%, not her getting in them good graces. Well, baby, that's how you play it, honey. Go ahead, former CIA person. Use those contacts. Eiffel notes Lively and her husband made a big donation to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund back in the day. And when Eiffel spoke to Lively, she was stunned by how much research Blake had done on the organization, and the two struck up a friendship. Wonderful. Eiffel calls Lively a serious person who understands the horrors of systemic racism and who is working to make America a fairer place for all, regardless of skin color or ethnicity. Go ahead. Well, brava to her and her 2019 donation to the NAACP. So let's see. And it just goes back over suing them suing each other and things like that. So she's a time. So way to get to if you're looking at this from a PR standpoint, way to turn your image around from being this tone deaf person who is taking over things, makes you look like a very good philanthropist that you are. So shout out to Blake Lively. Now, I watched another video that said that they talked to somebody in her high school who went to school with Blake Lively and said that no, we were taught U.S. history. She knows very much about slavery, anything like that. And I figured as much because she is the woman. Let's not forget. She did get married on an active slave plantation, but that's her business. But her PR team is working, and this does put a little feather in her cap. So let's see what happens when we type up Blake Lively's name. Let's see what happens, what comes up. What's at the top of her page? Makes times 100. Still talks about her season control. Let me just share you the tab what I'm looking at, okay, y'all. So, I'm learning so much from all of these content creators who are brand specialists, and they tell you this is the top page. So, you have her Wikipedia and all of that. Says Blake speaks out after making the Times 100 list. And this is about 10 minutes ago. We'll peep that article in just a second. But right at the top, it just talks about her being on Times 100 as you keep going down the page. They talk about her press tour I think that she was in London with Anna Kendrick. She took pictures with her. She speaks out after her time. We're gonna look at that, what people are saying. It's an honor to be acknowledged. This is what Blake is saying. Makes the Time Wars 100 list. So she's got a lot of good press at the top of the page. Let's see. We'll just go down to the middle and to the bottom, and then we'll read that People article. Yeah. So looking at her page, her PR people are actually doing a lot of work because she's not looking like the mean person that took over the end was thus set. So let's go to People real quick. Let's see what they say. Written by Angel Saunders. It says Blake Lively speaks out after making Times 100 list amid Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. Not something I take lightly. My 10-year-old self is pretty blown away right now, the actress says. So let's see what she says. Blake Lively is proud to have earned a place on Time Magazine's list of the 100 most influential people in the world amid her legal battle with Justin Baldoni. After the actress, 37, was named alongside others like President Donald Trump and Joe Rogan. She shared a heartfelt tribute via social media to thank the publication and send a sweet message to her younger self. And this is what she said, quote, let me make this a little smaller so we can see it all at the same time. Here we go. And this is her in the Time 100. It says it's an honor to be acknowledged in the Time 100 list for 2025. White heart, praying hands, white heart, to be written about by the great Sherilyn Eiffel is not something I take lightly. Her work has shaped our nation, who she is as a human, woman, mother, leader, fighter, healer, empath, risk taker, and dream maker, has shaped my heart and also my stamina to never stop believing in a future that's better and safer for everyone. Thank you at time. And thank you at Sherilyn Eiffel for one of the most surreal and meaningful moments of my life in this honor. My 10-year-old self is pretty blown away right now. Go ahead, uh, Miss Lively. I'm interested in the comments. So let's go to this. Let's go to this. Let me see if it'll take us right to the Instagram. I'm interested in the comments. And they said comments on this post have been limited. Ash, he says, well deserved, goddess. So well deserved. Yes, so proud of you. So they probably screened the thing. So everything looks like everyone is pretty proud of her. Congratulations. Elizabeth Perkins congratulated her. Anna Palma. I know other names I remember that I recognize. Okay. Blakely Thornton. So those were the comments. She's got some pretty uh good job PR team for making sure that all the comments that are there are able to be seen, are very good comments on her. I think that this was a very good PR move for her. Very good PR move. Did y'all see that? I'm sorry. Make sure that y'all saw this stream. I'm just talking and I didn't take it over. Yeah, look at that. So she got some good write-ups. Go back up. Claps and emojis and things like that. Good job. Good job. All right. Let's see. There's some other things I wanted to go over about Miss Lively. Do, 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 do. I think we got like one more article to go over. All right. So the last thing that I want to share, it says here, and this is coming from the Economic Times. Who is it written by? It's not saying. It says here, Blake Lively's legal showdown takes a wild turn as Justin Baldoni team uncovers a timeline twist that could flip the case. Now, what is this timeline twist that they're talking about? It says Justin Baldoni's legal team is contesting the authenticity of a subpoena in his ongoing legal battle with Blake Lively, citing a critical timeline discrepancy. They argue the subpoena was issued before any legal action commenced, potentially invalidating it and raising questions about the acquisition of private text messages. All right, so this is, I'm going to give you an overview from what I understand, and we'll still read what they're saying. Because remember, Blake Lively was working with the California Civil Rights Division, and she filed a civil rights complaint. Then she took the civil rights complaint back, and then she filed the lawsuit in New York. Now, when she filed the civil rights complaint, she had the text messages from Gene Abel, Nathan. She had text messages from the crisis manager, publicist, the crisis publicist, and the Wayfarer publicist. She had all of those text messages and things like that, and she had him at the point that Leslie Sloan, I can't think if it was Melissa Nathan she told, or she told Gene Abel. She says, well, I know what you did and I know what you said, and we're going to sue you. And so this was back last year. So when asked how did they get the text messages, they said that they had a subpoena. And the subpoena, and this was supposed to be the impetus is why the New York Times published all of this stuff, because there was a subpoena issued that said that they were able to collect this information. What my understanding is, that subpoena does not have a case number on it, and it has never been filed with the court. And so if the New York Times was given the subpoena, this subpoena may be fraudulent because subpoenas are supposed to have time and date stamps from the court. It has to have all of that from the court. Apparently, it does not have all of this. So, watched a couple of YouTube videos, especially what is it, the two lawyer guys. I think that's their thing. They're always giving us all the great information. But they're saying that if that's the case, there may be an issue with when certain things were collected. Now they don't know if it would be thrown, if the text messages would be thrown out or not, because they said that this is something that they can acquire during discovery. But it does put the law firm that's representing Blake Lively, who said that they filed this information, they could be it could be that Melissa Nathan and the other publicist Jen Abel could possibly sue that law firm for leaking out their private text messages. And also, I don't know how much of a legal kerfuffle that the New York Times would be, because now you're starting to see that the information that you had, you may not have had a right to have, and so you may not have a right to publish it. So let's read what the article says. And if you're in here, make sure y'all hit that like button for me. It says here, just when you thought Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's legal drama could not be more complicated, a bombshell timeline gaffe has derailed the case. Justin Baldoni's camp is challenging the authenticity of a crucial subpoena that, if they are right, it might totally upend the litigation. The legal battle may take a surprising turn with this significant timeline flaw. The chronology of events can potentially destroy key evidence in Lively's lawsuit, fueling the feud and sparking fresh legal and media wars, as per reports. Could this twist flip the case? According to reports, Stephanie Jones, Baldoni's former public relations representative, received the document and was told to give Lively private text messages when she did. However, since the document was purportedly distributed prior to any legal action being taken by either party, his lawyers have now questioned its validity. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's lawyer, asserts that Jones merely forwarded the messages out of spite. According to Friedman's statement with the Daily Mail, there is no doubt that Stephanie Jones knowingly and maliciously disseminated private and confidential communications concerning her former client in an effort to humiliate them and destroy the fledgling business and reputation of her former employee. Because what they're saying is, in order to have a subpoena, there has to be an active court case. And there was no active court case at the time that this subpoena was issued. So because it says subpoena and it says paperwork and all that other stuff, any layperson is going to look at that and say, well, I have to comply. And that's what she did. She complied. Justin Baldoni's team is saying they were covering their behinds, that Stephanie had already given them the information, which was verified by the text message that Leslie Sloan sent to Melissa Nathan saying, we know what you said. We know you're talking about this. We know you've done all this stuff. I'm just paraphrasing. So you know that the information had gotten to her because she made it known that there were text messages. So her actions were motivated solely by spite and occurred before any phantom subpoena that we have yet to witness. Friedman claims that no case has ever been filed against Jones or anyone before she sent Blake those texts, and a subpoena needs a case number from a filed legal case in order to be referenced, as quoted in a report by the Daily Mail. They said, was the subpoena even real? Marin Shaw, Jones' attorney, retaliated, saying that there was still no defense for what the entire world saw in those text messages, just more diversions. Hadn't answered the question yet. Baldoni or his lawyer should sign an affidavit stating that they think the subpoena legally requiring Miss Jones to produce the damning evidence showing his clients planned a smear campaign against Miss Lively is fraudulent. Justin Baldoni was represented by Jones's firm, Jonesworks PR, but the two ended their acrimonious relationship once the controversy started. Now, that's not true. They ended their relationship way before then, with even Jen Abel giving a 6 weeks notice. And once Stephanie Jones, tried to jump in and do work that she had no knowledge about what she was doing. And after text after text after text message and email from uh, Sony and from Wayfair, what's his name? Justin Baldoni's Jamie Heath, to tell her to stop. And they sent her a letter saying that they no longer wanted her services. This is when all of a sudden Blake Lively team has these information and has these things, because if I'm not mistaken, this happened August, September-ish. August, September-ish. Okay. The position was then taken over by consultant Melissa Nathan and former employee Jennifer Abel. According to recent court filing, Jones claimed that when she gave Lively the private message that became the basis of the actress' well-known lawsuit against her co-star in December, she was compelled. She was complied with the subpoena. However, Friedman noted discrepancies in the timeline and stated that he had not seen the document, raising doubts about whether it was ever filed. Brian Friedman said the document was supposedly dated October 1st, 2024, which was before any official case had actually been filed. Uh-oh. And that matters because a real subpoena typically requires a case number from a filed legal case to be legally enforceable, as per a report by the Daily Mail. It is signed by a lawyer for Lively and her husband, actor Ryan Reynolds, who practices law in New York at Manat, Phelps, and Phillips. All correspondence and documents pertaining to Lively, Reynolds, and their businesses must be turned over by Jones accordingly. The New York Times December article prominently featured the texts, which were discovered on Abel's work issue cell phone. Pre-lawsuit discovery is possible, but only in specific situations, such as protecting evidence that could be lost or destroyed, according to a lawyer and legal expert, Oleg Nekritin, who spoke to the Daily Mail. Any concerns regarding pretrial subpoenas in the Baldoni case will be moot because a complaint was ultimately filed, giving both parties a chance to subpoena witness and gather information. So if Baldoni team is right and no valid case existed when the subpoena was sent, it could throw a wrench into Lively's case. For the moment, this timeline twist has introduced an entirely new dimension of complexity and controversy. So we got some frequently asked questions with some answers. I'm loving this article. Why is the subpoena being questioned? According to Justin Baldoni's lawyers, the subpoena was issued before there was a legal case, potentially rendering it invalid and calling into question how the texts were obtained. Now, I did hear one pundit say, like, if she had filed the CRD back in October, that the Civil Rights Division in California, the California Civil Rights Division, they could have issued a subpoena to get the records or get the information and stuff like that. But remember, she filed it in December, and then she dropped it and then filed this lawsuit. She filed the harassment lawsuit because basically what she wanted from the CRD was permission to be able to sue Blake Lively. What role did the public relations firm play in this case? Justin Baldoni's former publisher is accused of handing over private texts out of spite, but her legal team claims she followed a legal order and exposed a smear campaign. And this is what they're trying to figure out. What legal order? What was the order that compelled her to turn it over? Justin Baldoni's team saying she didn't have one. She was just so pissed off that Jen Abel quit her firm, and her clients, Jen Abel, excuse me, Stephanie Jones's clients have had issues and problems with her, and also her employees had issues and problems because it also has been alleged that she had Jen Abel's phone and was reading private things, like I guess things like, less for example, and I'm paraphrasing, like if Jen had text her husband for something, or if she saw an email where she was having issues and problems with her husband, whatever it was, she talked about it in the office with the other employees, and that's her private information. So a mess, a daggone mess. So what are y'all thinking about this? What say you? What say you? Because this case continues. When I tell you, this case continues to get messy and messy and messy and messy. There's always these flips and turns and flips and turns and flips and turns. Like I said, there are three motions to dismiss that are out here. I don't have any information at this point. I'm going to go look back on Pacer to see what's going on with that. Uh, but I did want to go and do my update on this case. But what do y'all think about this? People writing up fake subpoenas? Because basically that's what it is. If it doesn't have the proper case number and can put you to a case that was filed back in October, because the only thing that was happening in October, according to the metadata, was that Blake Lively was uh, talking to the New York Times. They had written up the CRD complaint because she was in the New York Times was in the process of writing this article, because according to the metadata on the pictures and things like this of this article, they were pulling pictures and graph and uh, processing pictures and parts of the article back in October. But there's no instance of a subpoena being filed in October. I mean, a lawsuit being filed with where there was a case number back in October for this subpoena to have come from. So this is going to be something interesting. This doesn't look good for Blake Lively's team, because, like I said, according to the pundits that I've listened to, they're saying that if the judge looks at this and makes a decision like this subpoena was invalid, there may be issues and problems with the information provided. Now, I don't know if the judge will throw those text messages and things out. I don't know if that will happen, because again, they could have uh, received that information from a subpoena in regards to discovery. But that tends to lean on, as far as with Justin Baldoni in his case, that tends to show that there was a concerted effort or some type of conclusion. And that's the best word that I know to say, that there was some kind of collusion and concerted effort to defame him in such a way. So you had the text messages. So apparently Stephanie Jones bebopped her tail over to Leslie Sloan, gave her the text messages and things like that. Leslie Sloan gave those text messages to Blake Lively. Blake Lively gave this to the attorney. Somebody somewhere somehow wrote up a subpoena, presented it to Jen Abel, according to this article, because it was my understanding that it was presented to Stephanie Jones, not Jen Abel, but it was presented to Stephanie Jones. So it was because Stephanie Jones says that she owned the phone, because that was a work phone that Jen Abel was using. Because remember, she took the phone and she never would give it back. So I highly suspect that they were having to reverse engineer this thing back in October because they had information that they should not have had. And so they wanted to be able to cover it. And they probably didn't think anybody was going to pay that close attention to that information. Now that's just me, because like I said, I'm not saying that I think lawyers, one thing I know about lawyers, even the really good ones and even the mediocre ones, they just by trade, most of them pay attention to details. So we will see, child. What do y'all think about this? This case has got it is so many twists and turns and so much information. And plus two, it was so much going on. I feel more comfortable doing weekly uh progress reports than reporting on it every day. Because I know there's a lot of stuff, and there's just a lot of there's a lot of TikToks, and there's a lot of different things. And oh, I have seen that there are a lot of the um TikTokers who are reporting on this case are finding that their pages or their pages are either being removed from the creator fund, or people are reporting their videos and things like that. So we see a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Again, shout out to Blake Lively's PR team. Now, I don't know who is Justin Baldoni's PR people right now, because the two that he had are part of the lawsuit. So I don't know if he's hired a different firm or not. But I think it's probably time for, I think he's trying to be quiet and trying to rest up, because I know we saw some pictures of him a couple of weeks ago in Hawaii. He's cut his hair. He looks like he's lost a little weight. He's trying to work with his family and everything like that. And that's fine. But right now, here we are in April, and you're talking about next year. This is the time you're going to have to get your strength back together. You're going to have to get your own PR team. You're going to have to, because it's a battle of the PR teams, whether you like it or not. You're going to have to hire you a crisis management team, another one, and y'all get down here and figure out what you all are going to do. I am looking forward to discovery. I am looking forward to all of that type of stuff. Again, it looks like we're going to see what the judge says, because he still has to rule on those motions to dismiss. The New York Times has filed one as well. So he's having to rule on the New York Times motion to dismiss, Leslie Sloan's motion to dismiss, Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss, and Blake Lively's motion to dismiss. So there are 4 motions to dismiss that are on this judge's desk right now. So I'm quite sure he is going through this information and trying to figure things out. So if any, again, we're going to keep this pretty much as a weekly, but if something huge or big comes out, most definitely I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about it. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all. When I tell you this is too much, too much. Let me see what this is. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, I don't think I shared it. I just have my thumbnail to share, y'all. Yeah. So that's the thumbnail that I have for this case, y'all. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. What are you all thinking about this case? Because I tell you, this case has captivated. Again, this is one of those cases that could change the way Hollywood does business. And so this case has captivated that. I'm very much waiting for this case to continue to unfold. Also, we've got some updates on the Diddy case. I will do another video in regards to that, kind of update you from where we are, because apparently we're supposed to be a month out from the case, but there's been a couple of lawyer changes. So I would assume that because there have been lawyer changes, that they may postpone this case maybe another 4 to 5 months. We will see, but we definitely will be following that. It's a pity that these cases are federal cases and the feds don't allow cameras in the courtroom. But if I am not mistaken, they may not offer video, but they may offer audio. So hopefully we can, if the news outlets can implore the judge to say that this is a very important case, and that, if we can't have cameras, can we have audio? Maybe we can have audio on this case. I don't know, but that's something to think about. All right, people, we do this every week. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell your coworker, tell that helper that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye bye.